Yo, what's up? We're back, man. We were off last week because I had a family trip down in Houston. So we're back with another live edition of Techno's Gaming or
And we're
Techno's.
back.
We're back. Yeah, man. Like I'm all messed up. I don't even know what my intro is anymore. Yeah. So I went to Houston last week for 4th of July. Had a good time. You know, pop some fireworks for the kids, eat some food, visit my parents, visit my siblings. Be tourists in Houston because we stayed at a hotel downtown in downtown Houston. So we were like, you know, I'm back home, but at the same time we're touring around because the kids, you know, they really don't really know Houston. So kind of took them around a little bit to kind of see some of these things since the city's changing and growing very fast. And sometimes, you know, I don't think it's for the good because there's just too many people in H-Town crowding it up, bringing their bad habits and, you know, but at the same time, it's growing because new things are like new places to check out that I'm not even aware of. It becomes like all new to me. Yeah. There's this old post office that I used to go to because I had to go for a job. Not that I was working at the post office, I just had to go to that location, which was the main post office hub for Houston. Well, I didn't know they shut it down back in like 2014 or so. Come back to, you know, went over for the weekend and they turned it into like this big, huge multi-food court place, right? With some other businesses in there because it's a huge building. And on top of the building, on the roof, they made a park, a sky lawn, right? It's not like a big like playground park, but you can walk around. There's plants and everything, lights, pretty, everything. So at nighttime, we were there at nighttime, you see the beauty of the skyline. It looks amazing, right? From on top of that roof. I'm like, oh, this is pretty badass, man. I was like,
cool.
I like what they did here. I like that they did it, what they did here with this building. They didn't just abandon it and just let it sit and be an eyesore, right? They repurposed it, which is great. That's a good thing, you know, that they repurpose this old building. But it also gives it a little extra charm to the city of Houston. You know, it's like, oh, check out this new place. And it brings life into downtown Houston, not just, you know, dirty thugs and crap like that. Not riffraff. You know what I'm saying?
No riffraff.
No riffraff. Yeah.
I like how you chose that word, but that's perfect though. Riffraff. We need to bring that back. Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun, man. The kids love it because they got to play in the swimming pool up in a rooftop swimming pool. So you get to see all of downtown Houston, especially when you're on a rooftop. So did all that. It was great. And then we came back Sunday. Well, we left early Sunday. It's like 4 days in Houston. I was like I can stay longer if I'm by myself, but with the family, it's a different story, man. It's like you want to go back home quick, right? And I know that sounds terrible, but it's like if you're a dad and you know, you're the one planning everything and doing everything and taking them out everywhere and trying to show them a good time in Houston, then you'll understand it's like you're ready to come back home as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of get back home, weather nuts.
Yeah. So we left Sunday before the whole storm came, right? So we had some rainy, some sprinkles here or there, but nothing like compared to what Monday brought, right? Nothing what happened on Monday where the storm really hit and caused some destruction and flooding and power's out for still like another million people are still out. My mom still has no power right now, so she's sitting at home. Just kind of sitting there dealing with it. Luckily, her neighbor has kind of helped her with the generator to keep the refrigerator cool and to at least run one fan to kind of keep her cool. You know,
right?
So that's helping her out a little bit. But supposedly, you know, the Center Point company said that they're going to have it up tomorrow. So we'll see if that's true.
From my side, what I've seen on the news, they're saying like there's like 1 million people still without power, and they're still working on it, blah blah blah. But that was this morning when I read the news. I saw that. So
I mean, and it's true because I was looking at their website to see where's the outages, and sure enough, my mom's area is in there in the area where it's out, and they have 4 levels, kind of like 4 levels of progress, right? Level number however you want to call it. I'm gonna start with 1. Level 1 is like to assess the damage, pretty much like what's broken in our grid, right? Level 2 is pretty much, all right, the assessment is complete. Time to get logistics out here. Like, let's get these people here to work, you know, from other states, from other county, from other cities. whatever it takes to get the crew out here to Houston to bring up the power. The third level is whatever outage area had outage is partially up and running now, right? And they have a different color code for that. And then the last level, the topmost level, is pretty much you're complete and the whole area has power, right? And so right now my mom's on number 2. That they need to get people out there and fix it, and then hopefully she's part of like the number 3 where she has or the area that she's in that has partial area, because she can go to the other side of the neighborhood and they have power, but they're separated. They're on different grids though. That's the thing,
Wow, right across from you too, or whatever. Yeah. Or right across from her or whatever. Yeah, I hate when it's like that. Like some people always say that with if they're trying to get high speed internet, when high speed internet was a new thing, right?
Yeah.
It would be I would always say that kind of story. Oh, like the dude across the street from me can get it, but I can't. Yeah. And like, because I just happen to be on the line where I'm in the next section and then I do my section.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So people just don't get that. They don't understand that. And people get frustrated. It's like, dude, you're not on the same segment. This is why, And the way I try to explain to some people that just don't get it, I was like, think of it as your breaker. Like if one flips over, the entire house is not out. It's just one room, right?
Yep.
It's just one room, or maybe a couple of rooms. And once you flip the switch, everything's good to go. And that's how it is, except it's on a bigger scale. It's in a citywide scale. So they have to fix that. And it's not about just one little switch, man. You got to think of all the pieces in between that goes from the power plant all the way to the house. And people are just mad. People on Reddit so pissed, man. They're like, let's march on Centerpoint. Centerpoint is like the company that's down there. I don't know if they have that up there in PA.
Oh wow, marching. Oh yeah, because that's gonna do something.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, dude, what's the point of that? What's that really going to achieve except awareness? It's like, I think people are aware.
Really? No. Like if I all the way in Pennsylvania know about how Houston and stuff and Dallas or whatever has no power and there's like still 1 million people. This isn't the new. I didn't go looking for this either, right?
Yeah.
Like because I know you guys, you realists, legal, y'all live in the Denton, Fort Worth, the Dallas, Houston Triangle. I forget what he calls it, right? He says it all the time,
you call it
right?
DFW.
Yeah, DFW, right? But I've heard that before, right? Yep. So like I know what it is because y'all are always saying, my homies, I know where y'all at least is from, right? So I'm not looking for it, but I see it in the news and it just shows up.
Yeah.
Right? But that's how bad it, like, bro.
Yeah.
So if I know about it, everybody who cares to know knows, right? You can be mad all you want, but that's what the internet is good for now.
Yeah.
People sitting there complaining about stuff.
Yeah. Now,
which I think is a good transition into the subject, but I guess you have something else to say?
Yeah. So another thing that people don't understand. So people, let's just like yourself. You're not really aware of Houston other than it's a huge city. You see what's in the news, especially when there's a big rainstorm and everything gets flooded. And what do you see? What's the big thing that people, newscasters up north or any other outside of Texas, they point out in Houston?
1 second.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So, who's here? Mandalorian Martin. What? Mandalorian Martin's up in his beach. Man.
Sorry about that.
What's that? So, like I was saying, anything outside Texas, newscasters will always point out, say, look at Houston. It is underwater, literally underwater. So you probably seen all the floods of the freeways, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen all of that stuff.
For some people that don't know, it is designed that way. It is designed that way to collect the water because otherwise it would have been in neighborhoods, right? And so that's what some people just don't get, that when they see a freeway flooded from the very bottom of the freeway all the way to the top where the bridges are, is because it is designed that way to hold all that water, because otherwise it would have flooded other places, especially homes and businesses. Right.
Right.
And then with time, once the rain stops, it starts receding. It starts receding like, whatever, 1 or 2 days, and it's gone. It's not clear because it had time to go into the body.
Oh, but trust me, these news folks know that stuff. They just do that, so they can get,
oh yeah,
their crazy headlines.
Yeah.
And shit.
And it's
what the fuck they're doing.
And just we know that, and we don't say that in Houston or in Texas because we're aware that's how it is. But anybody
But the news that
outside,
I see will talk about that. Yeah.
yeah, anybody
And
outside,
that's
like,
exactly
oh
how
my
they treat people
God,
too.
Houston's
Hmm.
underwater. Now there are some neighborhoods that are flooded. It is true, just because they're old neighborhoods that don't have good drainage, right? Uh, but some of these freeways
Right.
that you see that are underwater or flooded, it is because it is designed that way. It's not because like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. No, that's just the way it is. That's how it's designed to hold all that
Yeah.
water. Were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I was saying what we were talking about before would have been a good transition into I guess the main subject of the day.
Yeah, man. The
When
main
we were
subject
talking
of the
about the thing
day. I mean, it's
before.
like I had a couple actually, but I forgot what they were. I should have wrote them down. I forgot what they
Actually,
were, but
if you want, we could discuss a lot of the stuff that was discussed in the Discord. Hint, hint. We have a Discord.
I do.
Come holla at us there.
Oh yeah,
Right. So because
I forgot to
I
even
forget
look
who
in there.
I forgot who had posted earlier. Hang on a second. X Donnie had posted a couple of things. Hang on a second. I'm just trying to click into the chat.
See.
For some reason, it just
Oh
off
yeah.
topic.
Well, the first big one was the Amazon
No,
stick.
not in off topic.
We didn't get to talk about that last week because that's what happened last week, and I was out of town.
Oh, right. Okay, so
So
let's talk about that first. Yeah.
so yeah, the Amazon stick, which I don't use, I prefer to Google stuff, right? Just because
Right.
I never liked the interface of Amazon. I've had their HD things. I think I had some other device from Amazon. I was like, I don't like this because I don't like their interface. Their UI just feels kind of clunky.
Well, because I know it's just really what they did was they jacked Android, right?
Yeah,
And they just, are doing their own thing with it
yeah,
because it's open source and they have to, just doesn't have Google Play on it, right? It's just a
yeah.
bootleg version of Android. Well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
about as bootleg as it gets, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But they put their own software, blah 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 on it,
yep.
right? So, it's like a fork of Android. If you're a Linux open source aware, you know what a fork is
Mm-hmm.
software where, people take the source code and go in a different direction with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what Amazon did, right? So me too. I've always been an Android guy when it comes to the TV boxes. I'm big into the home theater
Mm-hmm.
type stuff, media devices that can play all types of formats and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
definitely current on that stuff, right? And so for me, Android was always the platform that ran the best ones. But I have a couple of Fire Sticks that I gotten from work, stuff like that. Working at a resort, oftentimes people leave chargers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Fire Sticks and all types of stuff all the time,
Yeah.
right? And then it's in the lost and found. If you find it eventually, they give it to you. I found more than a couple stuck it behind TVs because, like I said, I'm also the guy who does the TV transcoder, and from time to time I do have to do some little support with the TV. But usually the TVs are fine. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'll find stuff still stuck in the back of a TV, already hacked with like the bootleg services and stuff. And so I have a bunch of these fires, and I've used them, to be familiar with the platform. And I can tell you, even the newest one, did you know that chips are still 32-bit?
Uh-uh.
Like you can't even run 64-bit. But it's ironic too that Walmart one that I told you, the one that has Google speaker that
Uh-huh.
I got a month or two ago,
Yeah.
that one only seems to be 32-bit because there's this app I like to use, right? I tried to sideload it on, and the 64-bit version wouldn't install, only the 32-bit one would. But I
Uh,
never had heard that this one is 32-bit, so maybe it is. But either way,
yeah.
right? Like, and Amazon doing what they're doing, but it's always like the bootleg side of it. I always
Yeah.
felt like the Fire Stick only truly got real popular because it was the thing. It was the cheapest device you could put Cody on, and that
Cody,
was a
yeah.
popular
And
thing to
I know
get.
a few friends who've done that, yeah.
Right. That's not as popular anymore. I mean, still out there, but with the streaming services being, pretty cost effective, which we'll get back to later on,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, people stop using the bootleg shit as much, right?
I know I
When the kid
have.
with the
I don't
services,
download as much as before.
right? Like I'll download stuff, but it's usually like movies and stuff that I already have,
Yeah.
right? And instead of me ripping it, hell, I bought a external Blu-ray burner drive that does XL and all of that, like the triple layer format, like 100 gigs,
Yeah.
just to be able to rip my Ultra HD Blu-rays, right?
Right.
The few that I buy, and I don't even do that. I just go and download the Remux online.
Yeah, you just
But
download it.
but
Yeah.
but but it's only nowadays for the stuff that I own. I'm not sitting there pirating everything because I have these services.
Yeah.
And so pretty much everything I watch nowadays is pretty much legit on there. And it's all good. So most people have done that, right? But that's the only reason why I feel like Fire TV and whatnot ever got any type of popularity. It was off the back of that piracy stuff. So Like to see now that they have the Xbox thing, uh, the Xbox Cloud, right? X
Yeah.
Cloud, as we like to refer to it, right? Like
Yeah.
get back to the topic. Um, it's funny how okay, I'm seeing reports that it's been selling out. See, that was one of the things I
What,
wanted to.
the Fire Stick?
Yeah, the Fire Stick
Oh,
was selling
wow.
out strictly because of that, and it was one of the links that X Donnie had provided. I was trying to look for
Yeah.
it to.
I'm looking
Okay,
for
I
it.
found it. It's in Bleed Green. That I couldn't find out which chat it's in. Okay, so in Xbox
Where did he
talking
post?
Bleed Green,
Oh, Bleed
X
Green?
Donnie.
Yeah, yeah, Bleed Green.
Yeah, and Bleed Green, right? It's
Oh, Goat Gaming?
yeah, from Goat Gaming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Amazon has said the Fire Stick is selling out worldwide, and it's then they're thinking the new Xbox app.
Yeah.
Sales are up about 22,000 support, but 1,000%, a spokesperson for Amazon said. PlayStation has plans to copy Xbox, but many success will be next to impossible, says analysts. And that's pretty much right because Sony doesn't seem like they have the infrastructure or whatever because they should have already had an app like this already,
Yeah.
right? Because this
Yeah.
is the same app that Microsoft has already been using on phones and Android in general for a
Yep.
while now.
Yep.
The big deal is because even in the past you've been able to sideload the app that already existed, and this app had recently got updated with new features, but otherwise, right? Like it's just the same app, it's just a new version of the app, right? And people have been sideloading it in the past. The difference now is that now it's official with Amazon, right? And they're
Yeah.
working with Amazon, which does multiple
So
things.
you don't need to
Number one,
hijack the device itself. It's just get it from the
yeah,
store.
right. So not only is it legit, so it's on yet another platform, right? It's
Yeah.
also one of the competitors. Remember back at E3 when it was Reggie, Phil, and I forget who was the head of Sony
Oh,
at the
the three of
time.
them stood together?
Before Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Jim Ryan,
Yeah.
right? But that was a message, remember, against Amazon and Google, right? You
Yeah.
see what happened with Google and Stadia, right? Now we see Amazon with Luna, they're on their own fork on the road, kind of
Mhm.
like what's that one comedian from Africa, from South Africa, where he talks about how his country, like, oh yeah, we'll get there one day, but we're gonna take this little shortcut, and that's Amazon, right?
Yeah.
But I guess what Amazon realizes, right? The gaming industry is far more competitive,
And
and they
they
were
thought it
realizing it, and they
yeah.
right, and they see what happened to Google, and they see how much effort Microsoft has to get to even have what they have,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm thinking they're thinking to themselves that they is better off to just partner, and eke out a living that way, and continue. If they just have a great platform, that's great, and you know what? That's smart, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Amazon is doing. But it just goes to show, right, that instead of just going on their own with what they've got, right, and establishing more, because everybody's expecting a box from Amazon, which may still happen, right?
Yeah.
Amazon may, put on both feet in the water finally, but this
Mhm.
is a major delay if they still have plans like that, right? Because that's what everybody expected out of Amazon, not this. So they'd rather be in bed with Microsoft than have to compete against them because they see that it's a volatile industry. You got to work a lot, and you got to put a lot of time and effort before you see profit, and you're not going to see profit for the first couple of years, if at
Oh,
all,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It takes time in this industry. You got to establish yourself with the player base, with developers, everybody.
And
Like
then
everybody
and try to
set
convince
aside.
people to buy those games again that they already, have, and
Right,
that's
right.
just, you know,
Major thing. So
yeah.
all of that reasons and more, like this is a big deal. And speaking of Amazon too, this is another thing. Like I've always been saying, particularly lately, because a lot of people, when they got the RG Ally, like myself and Realist and others have been saying about how no, it's not just about Steam. One of the big deals about that was it wasn't just Steam. You could do Epic and Ubisoft and EA and all the other of storefronts on PC.
Yeah.
But something I always like to mention in that talk is like with the RG Ally, the app that gives you like like a 10-foot interface, like a console interface. It's called Armory Crate
Mm.
SE, right? On the RG Ally version, right? And it has a section right there in the app to install all those app stores for games, except for Amazon. It's like there's a spot for 8, right? And there's
Yeah.
4 at the top and
Yeah.
3 on the bottom, and you could see that could be a spot for one more, and Amazon is not among them,
Yeah.
right? And I'm always thinking, like, a lot of people I think really don't know how much Amazon is giving away. Let me tell you, bro. I've always said, we always know about Epic and how they're giving games away all the time, right?
Yeah.
But Amazon, if you're a Prime member, not only do you get one free subscription to whatever Twitch streamer you want,
Yep.
where you don't have to see the ads and whatnot, you get one every month, right? And you could say you like streamer A 1 month, and the next month you're watching this other streamer, right? And you just can you can put that subscription towards that person. But what they also do is they give a lot of games away, right? On Amazon
Now,
games.
how are the games like handled? Or like, okay, Amazon gives them away, but what are they tied to? Is there like a Amazon platform you gotta sign up for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
or
not
launcher.
Exactly. If you're there's a launcher, and it's called Amazon Games, right? It's a free app to get. Now, here's what happens. See, if you're a Prime member, like I say, or Twitch, whichever login you use, because remember, it's all the Amazon, right? Ecosystem. So once you have a login with them, if you're a Prime member, now what will happen is if the game is on their launcher, it shows up right there. You hit the redeem button and it's instantly in your account, right?
Yeah.
But also, and this is the thing I was saying to Realist, I was noticing when we was in the DMs, you've seen the chat that we were having, I think, last week about this, right? What I noticed was I didn't realize that until last week that like some of the games they give you are on GOG, and what they give you is a code that you have to redeem at GOG. Or with Epic, right?
Oh.
So
it's just not dedicated to their platform. It could be outside.
It depends on the game. It
depends on the game. Yeah.
Right. But early on, there was a bunch of Amazon stuff, like most of the Neo Geo library, right, was given away, all types of games, and it would be within that Amazon app. Like I was saying about the RG Ally, how it's looking like there's a spot missing for Amazon.
Yeah.
I bet you they always had intended to be with Amazon, but then they made the deal with Best Buy to sell. And maybe Amazon is a competitor with them in that degree, I guess, maybe, right? Because you can't buy the RG Ally on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
If you could, then that app probably would have been there like all the others, right? Because it just seems to be like that's the only one that's missing, because Epic is there, GOG, the Xbox app, Steam. I forget what the two others are. On the three others I'm forgetting, but like I say, it's like there's a spot definitely missing for the Amazon app. So it's the Amazon games, and they're giving away so many games. I have about as many games now, I realize, right? From Amazon, for free, as I have gotten for Epic for free. And I have a lot of games from Epic for free. And I have a lot of games from Amazon for free. So Amazon's been in this for a while now. I don't think a lot of people realize. So the fact that they get back to the original topic of conversation, and I'm gonna finish off here by saying that, like, for them to do this and deal with Microsoft in this degree, I guess they are not as willing, right, to put in all that effort. I feel because they see what happened with Google and how Google pivoted because they were just not doing anything and just let it die, right? So they see the efforts that Google had to put in and decide to bow out, and they realize they're smaller than Google, right? Even though they're the leader in like cloud services and all that. Microsoft is a close number 2 and soon to pass them, and Google is like a far away number 3, right? And so they do have expertise in servers and stuff, but they understand the cost and the amount of effort that they have to put in, and I guess they realize it's not really worth it, and they see that Microsoft was doing all they're doing with ABK, and they just must figure it's better just to deal with Microsoft instead, right? And I feel that that's what's happening there. And so this is a major blow for Sony. Once again, it's another blow for them. The fact that, because everybody loves to talk about console sales and stuff, but clearly that's not the metric anymore, bro. It's just not.
No, it's not.
It's just not.
We've been saying that for years now.
Yeah, and there's no way the consoles or even the console and PC alone can get to 1 billion gamers just off of that. It has to be other platforms, not even mobile, I think will be enough, because most mobile people won't do it. So it has to be a combination.
They're just not sitting down enough. They're not sitting down like still enough to like invest time in a big game that's something in Game Pass,
Right. It'll be a side thing they can do from time to time. But to get to 1 billion people, like Microsoft has always been saying they're planning, they gotta have segments in every type of gamer, the console gamer, the PC, right? The handhelds, the mobiles,
The
everywhere
TVs
you
that
can
they're
get
doing with Samsung.
TVs. Yeah, the built-in TV apps, or if you use the Amazon Fire platform or whatever, every platform that's available, they're trying to be on.
Yeah.
They're trying to be on, and that's how they get to $1 billion in aggregate.
I mean, and
And so
everybody everybody buys from Amazon, and
yes,
and the everyday Joe and Jane, you know, they probably are comfortable already with a Fire Stick because it's related to Amazon, and then you know, you never know, they might pop up with, I don't know what the interface looks like on the stick.
it's the same app. It's the same app that's on Android, but the interface for the Amazon app, it's like I say, the stick have a 4K.
But I mean, my question would be, will
Max.
they advertise it that, hey, Xbox Game Pass here now? You don't have to buy a console. Just get yourself a controller.
I'd have to plug mine in to see, but I would imagine it's on the dashboard now because they advertise their movies and other stuff like that.
Is,
and like that, I would imagine.
Other than your phone, and if you wanted to play on TV and not having to buy a new TV, sounds like this is like the cheapest way to even get on the platform.
Yeah.
Is a Fire Stick and a controller if you have one.
Unless you have a TV that already is supporting the app platform, or if you have an Android TV, you can just get the app there, right?
Yes.
Like, unless your TV is on a platform that has that, they can get a Fire Stick. That's the other cheapest way, like you say, to have it on your TV, right? Get yourself an Xbox controller or one of those Amazon controllers that they sell, right? That probably works with that just fine, right? And so, bingo, there you go. I mean,
it's crazy.
This is more major because it eliminates one of the competitors, right? Yeah. Because they got down instead of laying down, right? To quote my boy Beans from what was that movie? Jesus Christ. I'll remember the name later. But Beans was right about that one, man. You better get down or lay down. So they got down.
Yeah. So it's insane, man. They're gonna stick this on. Well, what's already out right now? Is like today. It's for the last week or so?
It was out since yesterday, I think, because Dark he bought a Fire, which is funny too. He was live streaming as it was happening, and his son is like, "But we already have it." And he's like, why are you counting my money? Like, you don't need it. Was kind of funny, and he even have a good experience with it because he was on like crappy 2.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi instead of like the proper Wi-Fi. Like, to be on
but not every device supports the 5.0 though. That's the thing. And I hate having to run both signals out. I'd rather have one, but I still have to run two signals out because of that reason.
Right. So, but apparently he doesn't even have the 5. He's got the older 2.5. Right. So it was running crappy for him, and he didn't realize it enough at the time. I don't remember if at the end he figured out that's what it was, but I know there were other people who were commenting later on who said, dude doesn't even realize that was it at the time. So I don't know if they figured it out. If he figured it out during the stream, I stopped watching. But it just goes to show, like, if what the GOAT had posted is true, because he said that, because I could have sworn I had seen that headline elsewhere too. So it must be true, right? That there was an analyst who mentioned, hey, this is what's happening. They're selling out, and they don't see that Sony could really compete with that. And I really don't see how they could. In fact, I don't know if GeForce Now and all that other stuff is on Amazon. I'm sure it's sideloads on there just fine. But Amazon might just decide to push themselves to be a platform to have all these guys on, right? But State Property, by the way, that was the movie I was trying to State Property with Dame Dash and Jay-Z and Beanie Siegel and all of them. But anyway, so I think that's what's going on with them. So we'll have to see. I think that they're just opening their platform to have everybody they possibly can, and then that's how they're moving with stuff in 2024.
It's gonna be crazy. What they do with that Fire Stick, because that is kind of like the cheapest way to get on there. If it's not already included on your TV and like other ways to do it, but for your regular Joe, I mean, if they see that, like, well, let me give it a try. Let me give it a try and see how it works. Let's see. Mr. Spy says, Dark smearing Xbox for some 30 frames per second games when his new game PC can't even run these next-gen games at 60 without major downgrade in settings and resolution. Dead.
Yeah, he has to drop the resolution down, but he at least understands. that's the thing with Doc Dark. I don't begrudge what you're saying there, Varun Spy. Hey, what's up, dude?
I just call him
because
Spy,
the thing is
man.
with Doc Dark, I forgot what they called him yesterday on the show. Something Spy. It was funny. No, it wasn't Varun Kai Spy. That's his actual name. But I forgot what they called him on what's his name's podcast last night during the Xbox court. I forgot what they called him. It was something else Spy. But anyway, addressing what he was saying. See, the funny thing with Doc Dark is like he's starting to slowly understand the situation, but then he does and says stupid shit like when he bought the Fire Stick, right? When he didn't need it and didn't even have the good Wi-Fi to. He's not knowledgeable about the technology, but he's slowly evolving and attaining the knowledge. So he's kind of in that impasse where he knows enough to be dangerous now to himself.
Yeah.
Right. And we all went through that. You and me, as tech nerds, we understand where that comes from. But there was a point where we didn't, and we were starting to learn, and we started to think we knew more than we needed to know, right? And then would make mistakes because we didn't know.
Oh man, I get so frustrated with people that don't know. I'm like, how do you not know this?
Right.
And it's like I have to step back and realize
basic shit, that they don't know. Right. And so Doc Dark is slowly attaining knowledge. So what Runkai Spy here is saying is true, but Doc Dark does understand that his PC is low tier. Because let's be honest, and he says it about himself all the time. He's cheap AF. He's cheap, right? Okay, he says it about himself, so it's not no insult to Doc, and I don't knock him for that, right?
Yeah.
Especially nowadays in this economy, we all gotta be smart and conscious,
for real,
consumers, which will be a point I'll bring up again later.
Yep.
But he does understand that he has a lower end PC in comparison to what he could have, and he's he's attaining knowledge and experience now, so later on he could buy something after he's learned all the ins and outs. And he does have a slow evolution, but from time to time he's making these fuck ups and saying some of the dumb shit he's saying. Yeah, where like he knows enough to be dangerous to himself. Yeah. But eventually he'll evolve past. I do see the evolution he's having, but from time to time he'll still say some pony box shit though. I see it out of him though, bro. And if it wasn't for the gradual thing,
it's not as bad as his stupid brother.
Yeah, if that's really his brother, which I think it probably is.
They look the same.
It looks like
dude.
him. They look the same, and he's referenced how, as the older brother, sometimes they disagree. Being Puerto Rican, I understand. I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm Haitian, but from the culture, it's the same thing. Like, the older brother could be wrong, but he can't disrespect them on it.
Yeah.
On shit, right? And he's
like, I'll follow Dark, but I won't follow the idiot though. That's the thing.
Right. But even the idiot has had some moments lately, right? He's been talking real shit when push comes to shove. But overall, but he smears Xbox for when he literally experiences how demanding the games are on PC. Right. See, that's the thing. He's only still putting the knowledge together. He doesn't fully understand, and there's a slow evolution. Because I remember when he first started with shit, and he was saying a lot of dumb shit where there was just a technical answer to what he's mad about, and then the 30 frames per second thing. Like, and there's a lot of dumb guys with the Starfield thing and Redfall, not so much, but the Starfield thing now that has 60 frames, it just validated a bunch of morons who think they were right, and they were, but not in the way they think they were. Because I always said, I thought, Starfield could get to 40 frames, right? With the same settings that they have. Yeah. But they do 60 and even 120 by dropping the settings, right? Besides just the optimizations, which they did, right? Yeah. They did optimizations, but they also drop settings and other things in the performance modes, right? So the people who are like, see, they could have done 60 frames all along. They're right, but for the wrong reason. And so that's more important than what they're right about, because overall they're wrong at the heart of what they're saying. See, I have equivalent PC to Series X, and Starfield couldn't fully hit stable 60 no matter what the settings. That's right. That's exactly right.
I couldn't even get it loaded on my laptop.
Oh, really? Well,
my laptop, it wouldn't run.
Right. It just can't run. Like I remember the laptop you were telling me about. No, Starfield wouldn't. Listen, my old GPU with the same PC, I have a 12700K, 64 gigs of RAM, right? That's why I was so mad at Doc. Right. It's just like he's dangerous to himself now.
But hey, you know what? Helldivers runs on my laptop really smooth.
Yeah, but at a lower res, but it can't, right? It's the same thing with Starfield. Like they run it at 1080p upscale to 1440 or 1440 upscale to 4K. I forget which, right? And it's not FSR, I don't think. Well, it is now, but not at first, I don't think, right? And so these dudes don't even understand. It's not even really 4K. It's 1080p being upscaled. That's what these consoles are doing.
Yeah.
When I had the same PC, I finally upgraded to the 480 Super. I could run the game, almost 120 frames at real 4K, right, without DLSS. And then I could put DLSS on with frame gen on, and it was super sexy. But when I had the 2070 Super, the same PC, just the graphics card I had before, even the 4060, which is equivalent power, right? It's like, nah, it didn't work. It's like what he's saying now. Starfield is like Dragon's Dogma 2, where there's so much going on. It's just demanding, to put it simply. It's right. Especially in Dragon's Dogma 2, you see all like the NPCs. They're actually smart. The AI, that's what's really stressing the game. One of the top things that's stressing the game, right? And it's ironic how they had a 40 frame per second mode for that game day one. And the patch actually added the 30 frames per second mode, which actually is better, right? Because that game was taxing the hardware even more than Starfield was, right? And I didn't even think that Starfield would ever do a 60. And Dragon's Dogma will never do 60. Maybe they can get a stable 40 if they optimize, but Capcom isn't going to optimize. It's just like From Software with the same engine that they use with Elden Ring and all the Dark Souls games, right? It's unoptimized AF. Elden Ring runs like ass on everything, even super high-end PCs. It runs worse than it should for the amount of hardware you have, right? And Starfield is to a lesser extent like that. It's nowhere near as bad as Elden Ring is in that regard. But yeah, so it's just like a lot. Anyway, I'm getting way too far in the weeds of technology, but like all these people don't really know what they're talking about, and they're misinforming the people who really don't know anything at all.
Oh yeah,
and that's unfortunate. But Doc Dark, he's slowly attaining the knowledge. He's just at that hump right now where he's dangerous to himself, but eventually he'll get past that, right? And then he'll be good. Because I see his motivation when he talks to other people on other podcasts. I watch what he says, right? I see the slow evolution. He'll get there. He'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, these games, man.
No, yeah. Starfield couldn't even get it installed on my laptop.
Oh, really? It wouldn't even install?
It wouldn't install. Something was missing that it needed, and it wasn't as up to date as other PCs that are up to date today. Which I thought was funny. I'm like, okay, I guess it won't work,
Yep. Yeah.
And then I didn't think Helldivers 2 would work because of the age of the laptop as well, but it has a 1050. I don't know what 1050 is good, because these numbers throw me off, the stupid graphics card numbers. I don't know what's good or what's bad.
Right? Ooh, 1050 is lower than the 1060 I had before I had my 27. Okay, I just said a bunch of numbers.
Or is it 1060? I forgot what it is.
I had a 1060 before I had the card before I had now. So 2 cards ago, I had a 1060. That was the most popular mid-range of its time.
Yeah.
In fact, on the Steam list at the time, it was the top card, and then it was replaced with the card I have before this one, the 2070 Super, right? Not replaced at the top, but it was like a very popular card. But the 1060 was very popular, right? Because you remember that's the same generation as the 1080 Ti, which is legendary.
Yeah, that's what
Everybody's
I have
heard of
in
that
my
card.
PC right now.
Oh, okay. So
I got
the 1050 is
the 1050.
Than that.
The TI is what I have on my PC, but on my laptop, I'm powering it up right now just to confirm what I got in here.
But a laptop 1050 isn't even the same as the desktop 1050.
No, it's not.
So that's even weaker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So these laptop chips are even weaker then. So
but that's why I was like, oh, yeah, this ain't gonna work on mine.
That's old. That's 2 gens old as far as I'm concerned.
But Helldivers works really great though, nice and smooth.
Well, you gotta realize it's just a PS5 game, which is probably just that game was probably really designed for the PS.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was completely off. It's a 1650.
Oh, it's 1650. Okay, that's about equivalent actually. Like it trades with a 1060. So, right? But
but
because
on a laptop.
Right. But on a laptop, which probably puts it right back down anyway. So anyway, like, yeah, that's just like, how could I put it? The CPU is probably fine. The GPU probably needs more, and then it probably would have run.
Yeah.
it probably would have run.
I try. I just kept and I was doing it from the Windows Store because like Game Pass, it's included.
Oh,
So
fine.
I don't know how to conflicting with the whole Windows Store or what too. So, but I've downloaded so many games from Windows Store that it works just fine. So it has to be the laptop, you know.
Yeah, it has to be the laptop because I haven't had any issues with the App Store and like the Xbox app in terms of downloading and installing because you know in the early days of like Windows 8 and especially 10,
Yeah.
right? Like the Windows Store, particularly with games, but just apps in general was let's just say jank, right?
Yeah.
It often didn't work,
Yeah.
and like to wipe a game, particularly like some apps, you can never wipe it off the system without you completely reformatting because the whole security and shit was all fucked up.
Yeah.
Now it just works, right? I don't have any apps that don't work on the store anymore, right? And I get often apps. I'll get like OBS and shit, except not OBS anymore because right now they're on a release candidate with some dope new features. So I'm getting the app from the website.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, like the apps I use nowadays on my PC, besides like Chrome, they're all from the App Store because they get those free apps there too, right?
Yeah.
And you could download like the install off of the App Store, and then the app will update itself, right? But not on the App Store because it's just in the App Store to get the app installed in the first place, and then that's it. So if you have like Windows installed where you like a certain certain amount of apps, you'll have them all in your account. You go to the store and you check them all off on the fresh installed. These are the apps I want installed.
Yeah.
They'll install behind your back, right? And then it'll have to save your settings and everything too. Will be back the way you like them, right? With a lot of these apps, not all of them, right? It'll just work. So yeah, but yeah, let's finally get into this big subject here because I know you're waiting on this one.
Yeah, the big story is that Game Pass came out and adjusted their Game Pass tiers, got rid of one, brought in a new one, and people are upset about it. And I was looking.
Did they really get rid of one, or did they just change the name?
No, they really got rid of one. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was comparing what the difference between the two was, and I understand why some people are mad. I understand now why some people are mad. At the same time, it's a little overreaction madness, though. At the same time, okay. So core stays the same. There's nothing changes about core. Core is the lowest tier you can get, and you get your 25 games or 25 plus games that they selected, right? And
so
that's
basically Xbox Live, basically,
like with online play. So all these tiers have online play. Okay, the ones on the screen. And so core, when Live went away, core took over. You still get online play, but you don't get the monthly games anymore. Those 2 games that everybody used to get. Instead, they give you 25 plus games of what they selected.
Wait. Hang on a second. Okay, so the one thing that they get rid of, they used to have a version where you didn't have the online play.
Okay, and I'll get to that. Yep.
Okay.
And I'll get to that. And so core, today's core, which has been since the decommissioning of Xbox Live, you don't get the 2 games, but you get 25 games, which I think is a better deal.
Yeah, you're getting more than you used to with Xbox.
You're getting more
Xbox
now.
Already ran out of shit.
And they refresh the list every so often. I don't know what the frequency is, but that's what they said, that they refresh those 25 games every so often, right? Maybe not at the same time, maybe a few of them at a time, but they get rotated in and out, right? And I think that's a better deal than having the games that nobody wanted anyway, because everybody was bitching about it.
And plus, it's the only plan where you could pay the whole year outright.
Right.
Right, so $75.
People were complaining about the monthly games anyways, so it's like, well, you're complaining anyway, so what's the point of keeping it, right? Yeah. And so core from the very beginning had these things. What it says right here in this chart, you had online play, you have those 25 games, and you get the discounts. That's always been the same. Nothing changed there. So some people are getting outraged for some reason on core. Core does not include day 1 games, which has always been that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Core never had
Game Pass console, basically.
Core never had day 1 games. So people are getting pissed about that, which is like, why? It's always been like that. Right?
Yeah, but the thing with Core was it didn't have online play. It was called Game Pass console.
Yeah.
That was when they
Well,
limited
okay. So
because I'm reading from the side there with
yeah, and so
Calibri explains it.
and so now we have the new one, which is called Standard,
Right.
right? Which includes online play, 25 games plus. I think it's supposed to give you all of the Game Pass catalog minus day one. Okay.
Standard does.
Standard. So
Yes.
it's core, but not just the 25. You get the whole catalog of Game Pass minus day one, which is
Right.
which is the same as the
date.
core. Okay.
Right.
And so, and that's it.
No, the core doesn't have Game Pass.
No, it doesn't have like the actual Game Pass. It gives you the 25 games and that's it. Right.
Right.
So
Standard gives you Game Pass, but none of it is like the day one stuff. Like,
right.
You know,
So-
Call of Duties and stuff.
Ultimate stays as Ultimate and PC stays as, PC.
Okay, so hold on. I think I see what the beef is now then. Because I'm looking at core and standard, right?
Yep.
If you're on core, that's basically Xbox Live Gold, right? From back in the day, under a new name.
Yeah.
Basically, right?
Yep.
And that came out back then at $50 a year, right?
Something like
20,
that. Yeah.
23 or so years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, accounting for inflation and shit like that, that's pretty much the same shit, plus some free games, which eventually became a standard for Gold, that you would get a couple of free games here and there, right?
Yep.
So, adjusting for inflation and shit like that, this actually is less than it used to be in terms of price, right? So you see standard there. The one thing about standard is, I get, so it doesn't have cloud, doesn't give you the perks and codes and stuff that we get in discounts, and like they'll give away DLC and anime and shit, like, or they just gave away like the first season of Bleach, right? And they give away all types of, a DLC for Apex Legends and all types of stuff, like codes, right? For like FIFA and all types of games, right? So that's a thing for Ultimate. I get that's not there, right? Although for PC Game Pass to get that, I think that must be new. I don't remember a PC Game Pass. I thought only Ultimate used to get these perks and the cloud gaming and EA Play and all that stuff. I think that used to only be PC Game Pass. So PC Game Pass, I think, is getting new stuff. I'm not sure.
But I mean, the change is minor, though.
DLC, right? But that's actually that's a minor change. But for $11.99 a month, that's a $2 upgrade. The PC dudes who are complaining need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Alex needs to shut the fuck up. And even Tenga called them out on it, right?
Yeah.
Before Alex put up a video. Dude, for $2, you get all this shit. And the one thing I have to get up for Tanga's to ask about, although it's mainly Alex, not so much for Tanga, although he did bring it up too, right? He's like, but we're missing out some of the stuff that's on console. But that's why you always used to shit on Xbox anyway and say you can just get a PC and leave the Xbox.
Yeah.
Because there was still shit on console you don't get on PC.
Yeah.
Like, that's why that point never held water, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the PC Game Pass, great.
So
Ultimate, so it's $20 a month. But that's everything. That's great.
So pretty much Ultimate, and with the minor change of PC Game Pass, it's essentially the same. Nothing's changes for those two tiers.
Right. So what I'm saying though is, like the points. Okay, there's core and standard, right?
Yeah.
If you're not a person, okay, you're not a PC dude. Okay, we'll eliminate on PC Game Pass. Now, Ultimate. Let's say you think that's too much for you. You don't need the cloud. You don't care about the EA stuff. You may not even care about the deal about the perks and discount codes they give you and stuff like that, right? Like 3 months of YouTube Premium they give you. This is why I'm still on YouTube Premium. Ever since they did that, I've been there. My problem with it, because you even get the Game Pass catalog on standard. The problem with this is you don't get the day one games, right?
They don't get the day one. Now,
but that's the only way they could. But and the point I'm making is, I'm gonna end it right here. The issue is, without that, the difference between standard and ultimate isn't really all that much if you're trying to be frugal. If you're like a dark or just Joe Average, right? Who's not a gamer, right?
Yep.
They can look at the differences and be like, I'll go with standard because ultimate isn't really that much. But now that they don't have the day one game like the Call of Duties and stuff, that's what makes ultimate worth it and standard not so much. It's like what Ubisoft did with that with the last two games they announced, Assassin's Creed and Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
They're the pricing is set such that
don't they have like a similar tiering though?
Right, that's what I'm saying to you. See what they did with the pricing, they priced it just so that the best option, if you're being economically minded, is to sign up for the subscription service instead because they priced it out to make it, you know, seem like a better buy. And that's what Microsoft did here. And I'm not knocking that. Everybody does that. But I want to put that out there because a lot of people are trying to bring that up as a negative. I rock with Ultimate as soon as they announced that, right? It's Xbox Live plus the day one of the Game Pass, plus all the PC stuff and perks and codes and the cloud and all that. I'm with that. Even for $20 a month, especially now that they have ABK, it continues to be worth it, right? Plus, like I always say, I'm always on the Bing reward since the 360 days paying for my Xbox Live, and it still pays for my Game Pass Ultimate now. Plus, I've stacked up months. And you can still stack up months, which is another lie that's trying to spread out there. If you know, it's the type of lies that people try to spread, right? Like this is a nothing burger, and it's best and just like Runkai Spies has just said, Game Pass Standard is basically a better version of PlayStation Plus Essential. Game Pass Ultimate is infinitely better than PlayStation Plus Premium, right? And Xbox,
like I don't even like their middle tier, the PlayStation One.
Price parity with PlayStation Plus.
The middle tier is pretty much pointless.
Yeah.
Right.
On both of them, I feel like standard for Game Pass is kind of jank. Just pay the $5 more. You get a lot more, particularly the day one shit. Like Call of Duty and stuff. Like that's what you're there for.
So
if you play Call of Duty alone, that savings of Call of Duty will cover the price difference because that's a 5 times 12. I don't know, 5 times 12 is 60. So that's basically the cost of Call of Duty. It's covered right there with just the one game, but you get more games than that on Ultimate. So I mean that's what they're pushing everybody towards. It's a smarter buy.
It kind of I get why some people, or not kind of, but I get why some people are upset about this change here. Now, Core, like I said, I'm going to repeat it again. Nothing's changed. Core has stayed the same. Ultimate has stayed the same. PC essentially has stayed the same. You know, outside of pricing, what you get is the same. Okay, with what you get. What changed is that Game Pass for console is gone. Is no longer available. Okay. And now
if you're already on it, you get to stay though.
Right. If you're currently on it and still running it, then you're still good. You're still good with that. It's just like if you let it lapse, then you're done. It's like you can't get it back. Okay. So the details on that was it was pretty much Ultimate minus online play.
Right.
Game Pass for console did not allow you to play online unless you paid a separate cost or you upgraded to Ultimate.
Right.
It included day one games. Okay. So for the $14.99 at the Game Pass for console or whatever price it was then, I don't know what it was. I didn't sign up for that one. I can see why people are upset. But then you're getting online play on the standard, right? Across the board pretty much. But I also understand not everybody plays online. They won't care about that. And, and I've said this before. I'm like, woo, like when we were comparing all these Game Pass tiers, is like, I can see a lot of people sign up for Game Pass for console because a lot of people don't play online. They don't care for it. They just want the games.
Right. They're just trying to upsell. Right. They just want the game and don't get it.
They just want to play the game. So it's like, okay, it has everything you want, including day one games minus the online play. And it was actually a pretty good deal to be on that one. Right.
Yeah.
And so it included EA Play and whatever else. It included everything. It was Ultimate minus online play. Right. And I think like the cloud and all that, you couldn't have it. Right. And so, so I understand why people are like, "Oh, you're taking shit away." And I was like, "Well," it's like at first I was like, "No, they're not." And I started reading. I was like, "Oh yeah, I understand why now." But I think there are other people are upset also with the naming conventions because everybody's talking about the naming convention of these tiers and how it's so convoluted and so it's confusing. People won't know. The only one I will give them credit for will be Game Pass Core because it's actually not really a Game Pass. You know?
Right. It's basically Xbox Live Gold, but they don't want to call it that. They want to use the Game Pass brand. But hold on a second. I actually think I don't understand what you just said. What did they lose in standard? What did they lose the day one editions of games?
They lost everything from day one down.
Oh, okay. Now they didn't have anything
in
but
Game
they didn't
Pass
have that other stuff.
console.
All they had.
They included everything that you see on this chart, except for Xbox Cloud and online play.
No, they also didn't have the perks and the EA
Oh, they didn't.
play
then,
stuff.
There you
They
go.
definitely did.
Well, let's see.
That's what I was about to say.
some,
No, there is no point about that.
Yeah, because I had a website. Dang it, where is it? I'll look for it in a minute. Because I had some things.
But as far as because here it explains right here in the chart that no, there is nothing that was missing. Like, the first tier they just changed the name. Basically, it's a name change. The second tier, but that's why it's second tier. It's not the full tier. It doesn't have everything.
Okay,
that's
so
where
here it goes.
Ultimate comes in.
So Game Pass this is an old article. This is from before 2023. So last year, before any of this started happening, I think Core just came into play last year. You know?
Right.
And then it says here they were explaining all the different tiers. And
Core, previously known as Xbox Live,
right, which is Core, and then they started explaining the other tiers, which is Game Pass console. Game Pass for console includes access to more than 100 games, which is pretty much all the catalog, but does not include online multiplayer on the console.
So what they have now is Game Pass console under a new name with the multiplayer for basically the same price. I don't think they upped it, or if they did, like just pay the year, right?
Yeah.
In advance, like because now you get online play, which you didn't have before with the other one with console. Yeah. And that's why they got rid of it. Like, because if you don't have
the big thing is the day one stuff, though. That's the thing.
Because the console was worthless, though. But the console was worthless to pay for and still not get live. You got a couple limited games. Yeah. Like you'd have to be a real basic ass gamer to have had that. And because basically you probably not buying games at all, and you're just playing the limited catalog that they recycled from year to year.
Spy is correct, and I guess I'm kind of wording everything wrong. Yes,
they're not taking stuff
if
away.
you're existing right now on like Game Pass for console, then yes, if you let it automatically renew every month, then you still get all your data. Nothing changes.
Yep.
It's for all the new people who sign up.
Yep.
Game Pass for console no longer exists, and if you're an existing member of for console and you let it expire for whatever reason and you try to come back, you're not going to have that option anymore.
Yeah. Right. That's it.
If you let it expire and try to come back at a later day, it's like, oh, I'm going to sign up for Xbox for console. It's like, nope. You're shit out of luck.
It's like having a great cell phone plan that was real cheap back in the day.
You're grandfathered in. Yeah.
And you've been grandfathered in for 10 years and it's like half the price of anybody new. Like once you miss like one payment, because they're going to use whatever to get you off of that, right?
You're done.
That is, and that's what this is, right? But the difference here is it's basically the same thing, but you're getting one extra that you didn't have before, the online multiplayer, because that wasn't there before. So anybody complaining, like once you realize and for PC Game Pass, it used to be $9.99, now it's $11.99. Like, bro, it's like, and everybody has said it too. Anybody who's just being objective about it, pay for Netflix, you pay for all these services. We were just talking about earlier, right? You pay for all these services.
Hell, man, Netflix just upped their price a few months ago.
Netflix, they do it every year. Sometimes they do it more than once a year. Everybody,
I'm already paying $25 a year.
Right.
I mean, a month for that. I remember I was paying $15 at one point for the top for their top tier service. And now I'm paying
with the and multiple people and all of that. Now it's like 20. It's like 20 something bucks or something, right?
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
and even now you can't even use it outside of your router because then they start to, or they start to fuck with you. In fact, they were fucking with me for a while, but I don't use my Netflix too often. I'll use it at my house and I'll use it at my girl's crib.
Yeah,
and then and my accounts on my neighbors play because I'm often there hanging out or whatever.
Yeah,
and like we might watch something there, and it never complains. But that's because I rarely use it. And if it wasn't for wrestling about to join there next year, I wouldn't even have it because I dropped Peacock because of that. Because the quality of the wrestling thing is crap, and I watch with somebody else now, so I don't need it. But like, long story short, the point I'm making overall is people spend all this money on these services that increase prices so often. When was the last time Xbox did anything when it came to the price of their service. It took a long time. When the generation first, I remember being on K Mega's podcast, which he just announced today that GRG is ending at the end of the year, and then
Really?
he's yeah, yeah.
What, they're
He'll
done?
he'll still do like
Solo
fight
stuff?
night, fight night Sunday and streaming and stuff like that. But he's not doing a podcast anymore. He's not doing a gaming podcast anymore after the end
It's
of
a
the
lot
year.
of
But
dedication.
anyway,
It's a lot of time dedication and stuff.
yeah, man, he was doing this for over 10 years. So
Oh wow.
but one of the things, but I remember when Cognito had guested on the show that Friday because they had announced it earlier in the day, right? In the middle of the conversation, I had to break the conversation, interrupt, and say, "Hey, breaking news! Microsoft reversed the decision." But we all knew back then it was a temporary thing. That eventually they're going to rejigger things around to make it, make more sense
Yeah.
what they're doing and be more acceptable. And indeed, they did, right?
Yeah.
So it's been like 4 or 5 years because that was in 2020, I believe. So like 5 years later, they finally are increasing the price when everybody is doing the same thing. But of course, the Xbox tax is in
Because it's
full effect.
Xbox, man.
You see it in the press and the way they talk about it. Everybody else, right, acting like this is big a horrible thing
Oh yeah.
when it's not. When it's just not.
Yeah. Here's another one from Clo. How do you say his name? Clobril? Clobler?
Colobri.
Clobri. Anyways.
No. Clobril. Clobril.
Clobril.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why people make such hard names to pronounce.
Different
Prices will go into effect for new members for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Core, and Game Pass for PC. Ultimate went from $16.99 to $19.99. Game Pass for console will no longer be available. Which,
for new,
with so many games being online, it's like it was really a pointless tier.
you have to be a real basic, like I was saying before.
Yeah.
Joe Advocate, and you just play those free games that's cycled in the thing, and that's all you really do because you're kind of extra casual.
New Game Pass tier, Xbox Game Pass Standard, Game Pass Catalog, which is auto catalog, online play, but no day one games.
Hey man, if you're one of these guys who love to say that you love to buy your physical games and buy your games,
go.
Hey, there you go, bro. Have at it. Have at it.
Have at it. Plus, people say Xbox games suck anyways, the first part. So why do you want those day ones anyways? Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I mean, most of these people rock the Call of Duty all day, and the Elijah thing would just be get Ultimate. But hey, whatever. That's what you want. Boom. That's tailor made for you, bro.
Dude, I don't think I've paid for anything for 2 years, 2.5 years. I was telling a buddy.
Me neither, bro. That's what I'm saying. I always use the rewards. I know you do too.
Yeah.
And I've been paying for my Xbox Live since back then, and Game Pass the same way. And once again, you can go and stack right now, right? Because I'm sure there'll be some sales and people have been looking around. So I'm sure it's a hot commodity right now to get you some Game Pass and stack up as much as you can.
Stack up,
right? Before the changes go into effect. There's a lot of people who had already had stacked for years in advance, have like 3 years already stacked, right? Been doing this. Like, if you're a smart shopper,
ones, and
this is not a thing.
And I haven't seen this in a while, but the good deals that I've seen during, it was especially the holidays, was that if you buy 3 months of Ultimate, you get 3 months free. So that's pretty much, 50% off. And I used to get tons of those, like when those were available. If I ever see them online, I'm like, I get it. It's like, I'm buying that, right? But I haven't seen that in a while, so I don't know if that's they've stopped doing that, or if they're gonna bring it back. But if I see that now, I'm like, I'll buy a couple of years of those deals, because man, I'd rather pay whatever the cost is for 3 months for a total of 6 months.
Yeah. Overall, the way you gotta look at it is, if you've been a smart shopper, like you just freaking should be, but in 2024 you have no excuse not to be a smart shopper. There are options out there, and always has been. We've been talking about the Bring Rewards, right, on this show and elsewhere for years now. Like, if you're paying full price for any of this stuff, you're an abject moron.
Yeah.
Right? we started about this earlier on with all the free stuff that Amazon is giving away. I just wanted to make that clear because everybody seems to know about Epic, but not too many people even know that Amazon has anything, right?
Yeah.
They have about as much as Epic does when it comes to free stuff. Hell, a lot of the free stuff you redeem on Epic. So you know what I'm saying? But like overall, all this stuff is an option, and if you pay attention, you can smart
You just
shop
gotta be a
or
smart shopper.
shop smart.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So all these people sitting there complaining, like for me, I am so far ahead. If I had to pay every month, right, from this point on, out of pocket, the full 19.99 every month, I can't complain. Me personally,
You know, if
because I've gotten over for so freaking long since the 360 era, not paying for life for years off of the back of the rewards program and still doing a Game Pass Ultimate today since I joined it.
yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
I can't say shit. I owe them money in that regard. If I'm being
here,
like,
I mean, so many of their
it's just
games,
right,
it's like I
and
owe
we're not
them money.
morons. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, this is what that's why it's the best deal in gaming, and everybody knows that's what it is. To pretend like it's
But
not, you're just full of shit.
I do wish they would do this though. This part that they
What's
would
that?
offer a year cost on all their tiers, because I would jump on it.
Oh, right.
I was like,
Yes.
just offer the
And-
year. You know, don't do this month to month
And-
shit. You know,
And you know the smart thing about what you're saying right there is because a lot of people were saying, a lot of smart people were saying, because they know a lot of people are going to go and stack, right, as much as they can.
well, they're gonna put the
And you
limit
know why
already, so
Microsoft
it's
is
like
not-
they can't stack it. You know,
Oh no, they're not putting up much as the limit as people were first saying.
Oh,
Not at all. They're actually not, right? So this is the point that some people are making, right?
yeah,
Microsoft is smart about that and not putting a limit on that. Well, not putting like a crazy limit of like 3 months or some shit, right?
yeah.
You have until like September, whenever they start this new system, to stock as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening, right? But the point is, Microsoft has to know that too. And think about it, that's to their advantage. Because there's gonna be a litany of Xbox gamers for the past, it was the day before yesterday, right? So
Yeah.
2 days is the third day now.
So
right?
there's probably
Of
like an
people
increase of
trying to
those
stack.
cards being purchased because they want to stack it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Making Microsoft money
yeah,
ahead of time. And I think that's the same logic as what you just said there,
Yeah.
where these tiers should all have the thing where you can pay a year in advance. Because I would definitely do that. I would
Yeah.
definitely do that. I get these Amazon gift cards and all types of
like
stuff
I have.
every
I
year
have-
from work, Target, all this other shit. It wouldn't even cost me any money out of pocket once again.
So I
right?
have.
That's without the rewards program.
So the movie theater, you know, Cinemark. I don't know if you guys have that up
Mhm.
there. They have their own pass sort of, you know, system. They got their movie club or whatever they call it, and it's usually $9 a month or something like that. Dude,
Mhm.
I just paid the year. It's like I didn't for the longest time. I didn't know they had a year option. And a buddy of
Mhm.
mine who does the same thing, he's like, "Dude, you know they got the year option." It's like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah." And I mean, you don't save anything. I mean, you do save it for the first time, but after that, it just goes back to normal. But it's like, at least I paid everything up front, and not have to worry about it. You know, charging my credit card every month. It's like, just charge me at the beginning of the year of my
But
my
Xbox?
No,
Of
Cinemark.
Xbox or what?
Cinemark.
Oh, Cinemark. Okay, I'm sorry, you did say that.
Yeah,
All right.
Cinemark.
Yeah,
Cinemark's
okay.
Their little game, their not a game, but the movie club that they got there.
Right, I got you.
So, you know, for the longest time I went month to month, and then a buddy of mine,
Mhm.
you know, made me aware of like they have a yearly plan. I mean, you save the first year, but you know, you go back to normal prices after the first year. I'm like, that's fine, because I use it
That's
all.
still good because it's still a savings.
It's
Yeah,
still a savings.
It's
It's like,
still
yeah,
a savings.
Yeah.
Savings is a savings, right?
yeah, and you know,
And even when you pay for a year in advance, it's like you're saying, it's not on your card all the time, or they're charging you all the time. Where all of
Yeah.
a sudden, like you're in between, you know, if it's an account you just use for stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's low on money.
I wish
you know, one
Netflix would
day
do
when
that
they're on the
too.
side
I was
to
like,
charge you, right?
I wish Netflix would do that too, man. It's like, just give me the year thing and I'll pay for it, you know? Get it out of the way.
Right. Here's the thing about that. See, like I was just
because they want to
explaining
give people the
before,
freedom to cancel
Microsoft
whenever they
knows
want to.
what they're doing by not putting the limit and get lots of money, right? But they would get a lot of money up front. But I feel like Netflix, because they update their prices all the damn time. I guess that situation is too volatile.
Well, they don't
Otherwise,
want to
they
become
would.
like the post
I-
office, where if you buy a bunch of forever stamps right now, and they
Mhm.
increase their stamp price every few months, but you already paid yours a long time
Right,
ago at the very cheap price, and it won't affect you.
right,
They don't want it.
right,
They don't want that to
right,
happen to them.
right. That's the same thing that happened with Amazon Prime. Now you can't pay a whole year in advance anymore.
Oh, really?
Uh, I think unless you're already part of I could be wrong, but I think
Yeah.
it's the same type of situation
Oh, wow.
where basically, I mean, they have Prime and they increase the price.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's another thing they increase the price of, right? But like, if you were in the situation where you had the old price for a year,
Yeah.
keep that. But if you don't, but if you miss a payment or whatever, it goes to the new thing, where it's the new price, right? And I don't know if they have the yearly anymore, so that would back up what you're saying. But also, um, I mean, it depends on how they see it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Netflix is too volatile, right? They change prices every freaking year, and apparently Amazon Prime is going there too, which is why I brought them up.
Yeah.
But Xbox, like I just explained earlier, it was 5 years ago the last time they really tried to do this. Although, didn't they increase the prices of shit like by $1 last year or a year or two ago or something like that? I forget.
That. Yeah. Something like that. And
Like a year or two ago, it was like
well,
something small, but PlayStation did their same
but
shit
dude,
like right after or just
as
before.
much as we're into what happens with Xbox, it's like we have to expect that there's going to be an outrage every single time. It is probably not from the Game Pass people. It's just like the external people who want to pretend they
The
are,
haters, right?
just to say, see, Xbox people are very upset, but they're really not Xbox fans or anything or care for anything Xbox.
Nope.
You know?
At all. And objectively speaking, logically speaking, like you're not losing anything. It's still the best deal. And everybody expected the price for Game Pass to go up by a good chunk. Because actually, I don't think the price actually went up. It was when they added the core thing. That's what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's now that they finally did the price increase. But we always expected that there was going to be a price increase ever since
Yeah.
ZeniMax.
Well, you're kind of cutting out.
Not even
man.
AB,
Yeah.
right? Just before Call of Duty.
Yep.
I'm cutting out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're better.
I was just saying, like, they waited for ZeniMax and ABK to do this, right? Because we've launched this ever expected this. And ZeniMax was like 3 years ago now. ABK was 2 years ago when it was first announced. Like, the thing has been completed since last year or early this year.
Mm-hmm.
I forget when the ABK thing finally happened, right? So it's been a little while since that was finally completed, right? And we're just now just before the release of Call of Duty, right? Getting a price increase,
Yeah.
and they're about to drop. Apparently, the rumor is they're about to drop Modern Warfare 3 pretty soon.
Well, people
So,
are
like-
also upset, and they've pointed it out. They highlighted the FTC paperwork and saying that Microsoft stated that they're not going to raise the price of the Game Pass service because of whatever reasons they had in there, right? They've highlighted that. That's what Microsoft did. That's what they stated in their FTC papers, that they were not going to increase the price. And this was only a year ago, right? When all this went down, you know, and everything closed and the deal went through and all that.
They said that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That they said they weren't going to.
Look it up when you have time, and you'll see that there's a highlighted area where they stated that they were not going to increase the prices of Game Pass. And I think that's another reason why people are like a little bit outraged on, it's like, you said, pretty much, they always like to throw that out there. You know, you said that you were not going to increase these prices on Game Pass, and this was the first. Xbox lied to you again. Are you Xbox fans gonna take? Are you gonna take this, Xbox fans?
Exaggerate what was originally stated. And then when you look up exactly what was said, it's nothing even remotely close to what they claim that they're giving them crap for, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, they never said that. And if you actually look it up, it's not true.
Yep.
Because 9 times out of 10, when these people say this shit, and you go back and you look up the actual statement,
Yeah.
it's not that at all. Actually, 8 times out of 10, it's actually they're saying very literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget the first time this whole doom and gloom thing happened this year, because this happened 4 times this year. This is the fourth one with the Game Pass, right? But the
Yeah.
first time it happened, remember, like a week or two later, they had that like live stream, all those pre-recorded, right? And they actually had planned that for another reason, but they sat there in the beginning and explained all that shit because a lot of people were talking a lot of dumb shit, right? And then
Mhm.
the chick asked them the question, and a straight up question about the two specific games that people were concerned about: Indiana Jones and Starfield. She named them, and he answered those two are staying on Game Pass. He made it abundantly clear. And then, like I said, this happened 4 times, right? This Game Pass thing I consider to be the fourth one. No,
Yeah.
it's actually the fifth one, right? So, like, he made it clear. And the next 3 times, they still tried to say Starfield and Indiana Jones and plus a couple other games were coming to PlayStation and everything else. No, motherfucker, they literally clearly said, no, that's not happening, right?
Yeah.
But then the next rumor came back around being quite the opposite. And I guarantee you this Game Pass thing is the same thing. That they literally made it clear that they might or something like that. Or they probably said something completely opposite, but they want to go and flip it into
But I
something
mean,
that was never
either
said.
way, I
That's
mean,
not why they can give them crap,
look at
as they
everything
always
that's
do.
going on with inflation,
Yeah,
with prices
yeah,
going. Everything is going up.
everything.
Not
Yep.
just one thing, but everything.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, my car
Everything.
insurance has blown up, right? My house insurance has
Mm-hmm.
doubled and like maybe doubled and plus some for the house. I'm playing around with the deductibles, which I hate doing because that means it's more out of pocket if something happens to my house.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But I have to do it because it's going to eat up my escrow on my house. Because
But at the
insurance
same
here in
time, you
Texas,
see that weather is very
yeah,
volatile there.
Texas is
I
getting,
would suggest you not do that
yeah,
because you're gonna need that insurance when some bullshit happens that fucks
yeah,
up your house.
yeah.
At this point,
But what's going to
it's
happen?
happening
What
sooner than later.
happens though?
You gotta make tough choices.
But what happens with? I mean, I don't know how you're familiar if you like actually buy your house or what, but
It's paid for already, finally. But I've
well,
been talking to a lot of people on my block, and they're saying the same thing you're telling me.
yeah,
I'm just like, oh, thank God, I don't have to worry about that.
yeah. So maybe you've experienced this, but if you don't have enough money in your escrow, the mortgage company does an analysis of your account, and your $1,500 a month, mortgage may jump up to $3,000 because you have to fund that escrow.
Yep.
You got to fund it, and it's not because of the house; it's because of the insurance that has increased more than what you pay for the house.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
I'm having to deal with that right now. It's
Crazy
just
stuff.
insane, dude. It is just crazy. So, people are like pissed off at Game Pass increase. Like, dude, look at the other stuff first. Maybe you want to get your priorities straight and complain about the other stuff that are essential for home living and just to live. That prices are increasing.
Everything is going up.
Everything's going up. Do I like that Game Pass is going up? No, I don't. I hate it. But
No.
I'm not gonna cry about it and like complain about it because it's the nature of the business. So
And we knew it was coming for years.
yeah. It's just the way Netflix is, where they jack up their prices every 6 months. It's just the way. I mean, if we want it,
You complain, a couple people quit, and those same people come right back as soon as the next dope TV show, movie, or whatever the hell it is back on Netflix. They're right back on there because remember they left cable for this shit, and they were spending hundreds of dollars on cable. Right? I still pay for cable for like some shit, right? So on my cable bill is pretty high, but that's also got a very high speed internet and plus a phone line in case of shit, right? For emergency reasons. So I'm paying money, right? But for those people who want to sit there and complain about Netflix, you all seem to forget how much y'all was paying on cable. And now you're not, because all you have is Netflix and Hulu, because that's what y'all told yourselves, right? And that's back in past conversation that we had like a month or two ago, where I'm like, dude, I remember saying it back then. All these people who sat and complained, they got really frugal because the economy, number one, was bad around that time.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yep.
Number two, cable was crazy prices, so they were
Yeah.
saving so much on Netflix and Hulu. They were, telling themselves lies about like, "Oh, I'll be okay with just Netflix and Hulu,"
Yeah.
right? Up until they realized they really weren't, right?
Well,
Right?
but just because
And
everybody
then,
else started jumping in on the whole streaming thing, and now like
right, and there
everything
was
got
piracy
fragmented.
with the Cody, right? And there was piracy with the Cody thing and all that other stuff. So now it's all everybody wanted a la carte, and I called it from back then. This was like 15 years ago when
So
Netflix was new, or
now
maybe
we're
2
at
years old.
the cable prices with everything
Yeah,
added
we're at
up.
the cable prices, and now you have to piecemeal shit together month to month instead of just having the one price you
I
had
mean, the
back
plus
then.
side of this is that you can cancel whenever you want to and be done
Yeah.
with it. You don't have to jump through hoops like you did with the cable company or any penalties.
Yeah.
You know?
But see, the thing about it is people got spoiled because they went down because they went from hundreds of dollars
Oh
to
yeah. Oh yeah.
$30 at the most with
Yep.
Netflix and Hulu together,
Oh, I remember.
right? So y'all was getting ahead for God knows how long.
Yeah.
Like the fuck. And now you're getting way more than you had from back then
Yeah.
for about the same price on when you think about inflation and shit. Like,
I mean,
and I heard what this is about Game Pass. Inflation makes it such that this is basically the same price, particularly the PC Game Pass people. They can't say shit.
yeah.
They can't say shit. They're fine. This is ridiculous. It just really is.
No, it is. It is. People are just crazy.
That's
But
how
yeah,
it goes, though.
I mean, it's everything's going up. There's no way around it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it. I want more money in my pocket, but
Yeah.
if things go up and I want it or need it, then I'm gonna have to pay for it like we've always have, and that's just the nature of being a consumer, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's this simple. Like, I may be getting over it because of rewards, and I have for years. So even if I had to stop today, right, and start paying, I can't complain for shit. And $20 a month for all that I get,
yeah,
just stop.
yeah.
Just stop.
People were just nuts. But
Come on, bro. But particularly when it's for Xbox, they want to be extra wild about this stuff. That's the thing that really gets me when they do that. Like, oh my god, just shut up, you absolute morons. True.
no, it's still good value. I mean, especially for Ultimate.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well just get Ultimate. And I know people don't want to I don't want to jump in. I don't really care about everything. It's like, dude, just do the math. It's like you're better off just getting Ultimate.
Then why are you talking about it in the first place?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
The math is simple.
Yeah.
But on top of that, if you don't care, you don't care why you complain. You're just there to complain.
It's just there to complain. People are
Because
like that.
you're not gonna tell me about the $2 a month.
Yeah.
No, the $3 a month.
No, yeah.
Fuck
People are like that,
Fuck
man.
outta
It's just crazy how people are like that. They may
Yep.
say they may not be interested in the product or the brand, but they're very interested in bitching about the business practices and whatever comes with the business practices. And like, wait, you don't care about anything about the product itself and the company, but you bitch about the business, like the business practice, but it in no way, shape, or form affects the person. It may affect other people, but you specifically it does not affect. Somehow it's like you're offended because of somebody else's gain. Like you're getting offended in behalf of somebody else. Somebody called me some slur word, some Mexican slur word, and you're getting offended, and I don't. And I'm like, dude, I should be the one offended, but I'm not. No, but you should. I'm like, dude, why don't care? Why are you getting mad? It's like you're not the one who's Hispanic.
What are you getting mad about? Like they could say that even, right?
Yeah.
But why would they get emotional? Because it's never just if somebody was to say that to you, right? Like somebody, a third person, said some slur to you, right? And then a third person is like, you're just gonna take that. If that person who said that to you said that flat with no emotion, that would be one thing. Because logically speaking, that person would be right?
Yeah.
But it never comes like that. It's usually like it's personal for them that you don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's like the logic.
How are you not offended?
Which is the logic is sound. Right, because the logic is sound. I get it, but they get mad about it. Like, why are you not offended? I'm offended that you're not offended.
Yeah,
like the fuck.
And that's how these people are about a Game Pass. The way things going right now with Game Pass, they're getting offended for Xbox fans. I'm like, but Xbox fans are not offended. It's like, why? And then they question the Xbox. Like, why aren't you offended? You should be very mad. I'm like, dude, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm all right.
I'm ahead. Yeah, I'm ahead. Been ahead. Like I owe them money. Frankly,
Yeah. I was
it's
like,
just that simple.
it's nuts. Um, I may or may not do something next week, but I'll keep you in
Hmm.
real updated. I'm going back to Houston next week because my dad's having surgery, so I got to be there for support and maybe help out with whatever they have any needs.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so hopefully, there something about the kidney. The kidney's bad, so they have to take one out and fix the other one.
Oh,
Yeah, but his kidneys are bad anyways because he's on dialysis. So I was like, what's the point of just taking both out? You know, he doesn't even
oh,
he doesn't even use them.
nah, he don't need me. He doesn't use them.
He doesn't
Yeah,
even use them.
or they're being put to work. Oh, trust me, they're being put to work. They're being put to work at their utmost.
Yeah. So
Oh my.
yeah, they got to take one out because there's a mass in one of them, and they can't do nothing with it. So they have to take it out because it's being like
Oh
it's
man.
painful or something. I forget what happened. And the other one,
Oh,
which
that's a
is
shame.
it's a small piece of mass, but they can take it out and be done with it, and be okay.
Oh, good.
And so, so my plan is to probably show up there Tuesday night or very early Wednesday because the surgery's on Wednesday. And then I'm sure he's going to be like stuck in a hospital for a couple of days. And I mean, it's not like I can do anything other than just be there, you know? And
Hmm.
and then when it comes to nighttime, it's like, oh, I don't want to sit around all night. It's like at the hospital, right? So I'll probably be there during the day and work out of the hospital for a few hours, just to see what's happening and make sure he's okay if he needs
Yeah.
anything, and then come back. You know that Wednesday night, go back to his house. I'm gonna stay at his house, and then Thursday, rinse and repeat, do the same. Go to the hospital, see what's going on. Do I need to get some medicines? Do I need to bring anything? Stuff. That's pretty much it. So, but I got my brother and sister over there too. But my sister's working full time, so she can't do much. Other unless she's off the day. Whatever day she's off. I know she has a couple of days off. And then my brother, well, he's kind of helping out with the business that my dad has, so he's taking care of that. So that kind of leaves me like, okay, I gotta be there. You know,
Right.
I gotta be there and do something, not just let them hang. Because my sister has been the one that's been taking the brunt of taking care of a lot of things because I'm not there, and now it's like
Because she lives in Houston,
because she lives in Houston.
right?
My brother lives in Houston too, so but he was
Mm.
away. So if you know what I mean, he was away for a few years,
Mhm.
and so he wasn't around until just recently that he was able to
Right.
come back home.
Right.
And now hopefully he has his head straight. There's like, all right, I need you to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble, and this is what we're going through because you've
Ah.
been gone for a few years and you haven't been going through all the motions of what's been happening because of you been being gone. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
and so, yeah. So that's why I says like next week may or may not, depending on what we're doing. But I think my dad's gonna be like stuck in the hospital for the rest of the week. So it's like, okay, I'll just come back home at
Yeah.
night.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
then at nighttime, I'll just come
How
back
far away
home.
is Houston from you?
Four and a half hours, 4 hours.
Oh wow. No, that's not the type of thing we can go there and then come back home at night. No, you have
No,
to be
no,
over
no.
there.
I'll go and I'm like I said, I'm gonna go there Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't decided which day I want to go, and then I'm just gonna
Mm.
stay there for the rest of the week, probably until Sunday, and then come back Sunday afternoon back to Dallas,
Well,
and then that's it.
prayers and hopes, bro.
But yeah,
I'll have my mom pray for him, bro.
yep.
That's all I can do. My mom
Thanks.
prays a lot. Like I told you about the key, falling on the house,
Yeah.
and it's a literal miracle. So I mean, hey,
Yeah.
apparently she's got the hookup when it comes to miracles. So
Yeah.
she
I'm
put she put a word out with God.
yeah. So yeah, no, I'm taking my gear, taking my laptop because my laptop's set up, and we could just use StreamYard if we do something. That's just the easiest
Right.
way to do things. And then,
No doubt.
but I mean, like either way, I'm like show or not, I'm still taking all my stuff, so that's why I'm like kind of up in the air about it. So I gotta take my work laptop, my personal devices, and then my clothes. And of course, my Xbox. I gotta take my Xbox too, man, because there's gonna be some downtime that I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit around and do nothing.
Hell yeah.
So, but somebody
Hell
will probably
yeah.
say, "Why don't you just use
Like
the
I was
cloud?" And it's
I
like,
may,
dude, I'm gonna be at a
I'll
house.
spend a couple days. I was thinking that too. I was thinking that too. But see, that's the thing too. I plan to do a similar. I was just speaking to my brother a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
Number one, that there's a not Trader Joe's. What's the other place? Tractor Supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Tractor Supply that opened by my house, I think last year. But down where my brothers live, right in Bartonsville, it's like 10 exits away.
Yeah.
They have one there as well. What I didn't know is they sell chickens there, right? Like live chickens.
Yeah.
Right. And he gets baby chicken, you know, and
do you sacrifice
and he gets the eggs
them
and
or
eventually, you know, for the eggs. I just said.
I don't know. You got some kind of ritual you gotta get.
And eventually, by like 6 months, they're fully grown. You know, you can kill them and eat them. You know, the chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he does, but I didn't know that Tractor Supply does that. The reason I'm bringing that up was so I ended the whole conversation, and I didn't know that Tractor Supply sold chickens. I thought the one near mine does because it's only the size of a supermarket, but maybe it does. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm speaking to him, and then I have plans. I'll go see him for like a couple of days or whatever, and I'll probably spend a couple of days at my girl's house in Queens, and then go see him because he's in Long Island for the summer, right? So I might be doing the same thing, and the whole time I'm having the conversation with him, I'm thinking to myself, not gonna have my PC, but I'm definitely gonna bring my Xbox.
Yeah.
But he has a Series X, but I want to bring my Xbox.
No, you want to bring yours, yeah.
What I want to, yeah. I'm gonna bring my. That's what I'm gonna do.
Because then you gotta go through the trouble
Xbox,
signing on and everything. Like,
yeah. Although I can just bring the controller and then the login would just be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't know about that, see what I'm saying? It's one of those smart things that Xbox does. You can put your account on your controller, so all you got. It doesn't matter the Xbox you're on. You log in with that controller. Boom, all your stuff is there. Remember, your saves is on the cloud and everything else too. Oh, it's beautiful. But yeah, man. One other thing I just want to mention real quick. So every show I always have a thing like an item or like a device or whatever.
Like
this time it's a game
thing. 8-bit dough.
Yeah, yeah. The keyboards and all that stuff they have, and then the RG Cube, and before that even the Pow Kitty, which my nephew was loving.
Pow Kitty.
Yeah, man.
Oh, did you get the other one?
Kitty. No, I didn't get it yet. But anyway, so last generation, Ace Combat 7, right? It's a game, I used to talk about the game all the time. And nowadays I talk about Project Wingman, which was my favorite game of this generation that came out, which is a similar game, right? But it just came out to the Switch of all platforms. Every other platform had it, but the Switch, it just came to Switch. So if you're a Switch owner, Ace Combat, bro, it's out with all the DLCs, except it's only 720p and 30 frames instead of 60 like every other platform. So
well,
that's kind of stuff.
The Switch.
Even the original Xbox One. Yeah. But I thought the Switch could do it because even the Steam Deck could do it, not even at full tilt and did it 60 frames with max settings. So I'm kind of surprised that it couldn't do something close to that at 720p. But hey, it's the Switch. But the reason I brought that up is number one, if you're a Switch fan, check that out. Number two, I started to realize as a PC dude, a lot of that indie stuff I like to play, a lot of like the retro stuff. If you're just a console only person, Nintendo Switch is the platform for most of that stuff. Yeah, a lot of that is on PlayStation, Xbox, but generally, that's
like
one of the big.
Some of those older games are great just being on the handheld.
Right. Right, and for a lot of people have bought the Switch because they haven't been into games for generations, and they're getting back into gaming with the Switch. Right, it's the cheapest of the consoles at $199. Right, the games are pretty cost effective, even though Nintendo doesn't like to drop price, but once in a while they do a sale. And there's a lot of those, reissues of older games or collections of older retro games, like the Tecmo wrestling game, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So we all know the best-selling console of all time is the PS2, and the 3DS is just behind it, almost past it, right? Although, or did it? No, it's the PS2, but 3DS just behind it. But the Switch is up and coming, bro. And at the rate it's going, we already see the PS5 isn't going to sell the numbers of the PS4. We already know this. But the Switch is looking like, if it keeps the momentum it's doing, and I'm starting to think this is another reason why Nintendo is holding back the next Switch, right? Because they want it to be cheap. They want to have a lot of them, like on the report was last week. and they're working on the software, right? To have a good amount of software. But bro, if the Switch was to pass the PS2 in overall lifetime console sales, that's gonna take a lot of wind out of these pony sales, bro.
Oh yeah.
That would be crazy.
They still won't
Would be
acknowledge
crazy.
it.
That would.
They still won't acknowledge it.
Oh, hey, listen. You know what? Of course they're not gonna acknowledge it, but everybody else is gonna point and laugh,
Oh
big that
yeah.
up. Nintendo fans easily, because Nintendo fans are kind of like Apple fans. They try not to talk shit, act like they're better than
Until
everybody,
something
and just stay
happens,
out
they're
of
like,
the argument
yeah, see
until
that?
something right,
Yeah.
and then they're extra rude, right?
Oh yeah.
And then they make up, for it by being extra rude. And this is the one time.
That's like Fairweather
bro,
fans, like, yeah, my team's a champion. Yeah, it's like, dude, where were you the last 10 years? Like, here you come with your
they were just
Crips new
watching
shirt and
quietly
cap.
rooting for their team. Yep. Yep. So would love to see that. Would love to see that. And
Yeah.
at the same time, bro, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I was just realizing too, because as a PC dude, I'm not so much of like a PC gamer in terms of the types of games I like. It's just that the PC platform, it gives me options and performance, right? That the consoles don't have. If you're willing to put in the money,
Yeah.
which I am.
Yeah.
Although once again, I'm a smart shopper with that, right?
Smart
But
shopper.
also but the main thing besides that is the types of games that they generally don't have on the consoles as much anymore, right? In terms of like retro stuff, like indie stuff. Like it's only the cream of the crop of indie stuff that comes to consoles, right? But like it has to make its bones on PC first and prove its worthiness, and then later on it will come to consoles, right? But like, so, and that's why I said what I said. If I wasn't a PC dude, I would definitely have to have the Switch, right, to get that fixed, because a lot of that stuff is on the Switch. And so, like I've always said, man, if the Switch successor is fully backwards compatible, like it better be, and even perform like what the Xbox does, where it'll run those games at better performance. I got a huge back catalog to buy on Nintendo.
Their history.
And I'm glad they do it.
I don't know. Maybe because of the success of the Switch.
I don't see it either. I don't see it either. But it depends on what the price is and what the performance is.
Yeah.
Just for the stuff that's exclusive to the platform, I would finally pick that up, because I always decided I'm not fucking with the Switch and Nintendo.
No.
I decided that from the beginning of the generation, the way Nintendo was, man. I'm not fucking with them. But this, number one, if it was to pass the PS2 and then to do that the proper way, I'm not even concerned too much about new software. Just the old software has to work on the new hardware as well as the new software, of course, right? Yeah. Once you do that, I'm not even concerned about what new you come out with software-wise. I just need the hardware to be like that, Nintendo. And what I'm saying, the bar for entry for me is super low. If Nintendo can't do that, I'm not fucking with Nintendo ever again, bro.
Oh no! I already told myself that the Switch is my final Nintendo product. I'm not buying anything.
You didn't even put that to use, right?
Yeah, because I don't use it as much as before. Because I was really into the Mario games and like the Metroid and stuff like that. There's a couple of games that I purchased. I still haven't even played them. Ex Machina is what I've been wanting to play, and I haven't played it yet. Just don't.
Yeah, I heard that's a long game too.
Just don't have the time to play it. To sit down on the Switch to play it. My kids love it because they get to play the Pokemon games. So there's plenty of Pokemon games on the current Switch. So they can,
up until they lost one for like a long time, you didn't know where it was.
Yeah, and it was under the TV the entire time. It was so dumb. Yeah. So we have it, but so we took it to Houston, and the Joy-Cons are fucking dead, dude. They're just blasted. They're not even good anymore, right?
They're worn out.
They're worn out. They're not holding charge. They're
replaceable.
They're irreplaceable. Yes,
cheap.
it's like it wouldn't even be worth it to self repair them. It's just like I'll just get new ones because I'm just gonna get rid of them. I had 2 sets. 2 sets are gone, and there's the only 2 sets I have. And then, but I do have the pro controller, like the full blown controller, which I prefer because it's an actual controller, not some Joy-Con shit. But I told my younger son who's
that's a great controller, by the way.
Yeah, the pro one's nice. Yeah. And then, so I told my son, I was like, you're going to have to use this controller because those other ones are ugly and they don't work anymore. It's like, but you just need to charge them, daddy. I'm like, no. They're not good. They're not good anymore. We're just going to trash them. I'll buy some new ones. So now I'm like looking for used, like, I know I should even go used, but I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try to find something on eBay or somewhere on Craigslist, something, and buy some.
Oh, what you should do is, I suggest, is you take the batteries out.
Oh,
take the batteries out, right? And then when you get the new ones, see if the batteries are still good.
Yeah.
Right? Because I imagine your boys rarely took the Joy-Cons off the system in and of itself, and they maintained it
really doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really take them off.
I guarantee you, it's not the battery that's at fault. It's just worn down. So the battery would be, the batteries would be great as spares, right? In case something was happened to the batteries later on with the
those are easy to change out. Yeah,
with the replacements, you'll still have the old batteries, and they're easy to change out. So you should hang on to the batteries before you trash the old ones.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that with the current ones, because I already trashed one set and they're gone, but I got the other set still, so I'll save the batteries for that one. And I've been seeing some Walmart ones, and they're like $30 for the two, for the set. I'm like, is it good? I said maybe I'll buy one and see how they are, just to see, because $30. I mean, well, I can eat $30, you know.
Right.
And see if they're good.
Hori makes good pads, like Hori. That's the same company that's making that Steam controller that we talked about the last time I was on, right? You know, Hori, that's like the Japanese equivalent of Mad Cats. They've been around with controls on arcade sticks for
Mad Cats,
like 30 or 40 years. But they're better than Mad Cats. They're like, you know, it's an old company. They've been around for at least 40 years doing this stuff, right?
Yeah,
or at least in the middle of the 80s.
I got some other stuff too. Yeah.
So I know they have some good controllers for the Switch, so you might want to consider them, or at least you'll know the controllers will be good.
Yeah.
And good quality, at least. I don't know about the price, but at least the quality should be great.
Well, all right, man. Let's sign off and go. Tired, and I'm on dad duty right now, so.
I hear that.
Anybody chat? Good night. Anybody replay? Good night. Sick. Good night.
Peace.
Let's get out of here. Bye.
Good night, folks.